These are the most underrated players' distance irons going into 2025. And I know that gets said a lot on YouTube, but after watching this video, I don't think you'll be able to disagree. However, just like any golf club, there are drawbacks, and towards the end, I'll show you why and potentially how they can even sell these golf clubs at this phenomenal price. With that being said, there's one thing that these irons do, which is pretty uncommon for this particular head type. Guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Simon down here, SAS Golf Academy, and I can't take all credit for this video idea. I got an email over the weekend from Paul explaining how he got a full set of these irons, 3 to pitching wedge, for £115. Better yet, he told me these are currently being sold 5 to pitching wedge for £299, and it does get better because I dived a tiny bit deeper. I guess the bigger question from this whole video is, firstly, how can they sell these clubs at this particular price when others are charging that much more? And I guess secondly, how much does it actually cost to build a golf club? Quickly, if you like this video and you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I'm on a goal for 100K this year, and I'm going to be relentless, but I do need your guys' help. The club that Paul emailed me about was the Lynx VT, and let me show you the specs, and more importantly, how you're going to get these custom built for you. Now, the Lynx VT on my right-hand side, this is a combo set, and thanks to Replay Golf for sourcing these, as they always come in clutch with the video that I need. They somehow miraculously always have everything. But the one with the Lynx badge on the bottom left-hand side there, that's the newer model. The older model is the one that's blank. However, if you've watched this channel for a while, does that really matter? No. The condition of these, no matter the age, is phenomenal. And I guess that's the first tick in the box, in the sense that these seem to last quite well. There's certain irons, especially in the second-hand market, that deteriorate over time. The Lynx irons don't seem to do that, which moves me on nicely into the second thing that I really like about these irons. And it's for a player that never can spin a golf ball a lot, can actually spin quite a bit with these. Now, we'll come back to the shaft in a minute and make a lot more sense potentially in the price options for these brand new. But 6,500 backspin for a 7-iron, I didn't even catch that well, by the way, so they are definitely forgiving. And it's one of the reasons that I always seem to end up with, let's say, a more blade or let's say a CB iron head, because I need spin. I hit the ball too far and I need some kind of front to back dispersion. But as I've been warming up with these irons that seem to be going for around £150 second hand on eBay, I mean, my dispersion's pretty consistent. Which makes me wonder, actually, how much spin does this thing produce right here? As don't get me wrong, this is a player's distance iron, and sometimes you guys that have these have a massive gap between this and, let's say, your 50-degree wedge, which makes these clubs quite unique. And let's talk about the 7-iron loft, 32 degrees. And to put that into comparison, the P790 is lofted at 30.5. So there's no point doing a distance test, as obviously the P790 is going to go further. But one of the reasons why I feel this iron set is incredibly underrated, 9,800, that is remarkable. And I feel like you agree with me, even with some of the negatives. As for the price point, brand new or second hand, this is very affordable for all golfers just starting this game. Number two, this kind of style and aesthetic obviously is very popular, hence why we see so many direct-to-consumer brands moving more towards this kind of head style. And lastly, if I was to swing a bit slower, which I'll do in a second, I'm sure this is going to give me the launch and distance. However, when this is swung faster, I got the typical carry of 130 that I'd normally see with, well, my own pitching wedge, which is my Titleist MB. Again, hitting these irons, I think back to that fitting that I had with Alex from Orca. And again, that incredible deal, $399, custom fitted, 5 to pitching wedge, plus a wedge. And the more you play this game, the more you realize sound and feel is one thing, loft, shaft, length, lie is basically making up the rest of it, to the point that does it really matter what badge is on the back of it? So let's talk custom fitting. Let's talk about shaft, because I did some digging after Paul messaged me on my website. Tiny bit thin. 83 miles an hour, what's that giving me? 5,700 spin, again, that's around about right. Always going to spin more if I hit it thin, however. Oh, that is lovely. These two sound great. Again, secondhand, £20 a club, Jesus. 4,900. And they're not underrated because they do anything better than anything else. They're underrated because the price point is giving you the same as, well, everything else. Tell me that's not perfect numbers at 83 miles an hour. 20.5 launch, 5,000 spin, 160 carry, little tight draw. Delightful. So let's talk about one way that they've been able to save a bit of money and potentially reduce the cost for you guys buying these clubs. Obviously I have the older model here, and again, even the more recent models still had KBS shafts. I've seen steel fiber shafts in these, I've seen NS Pro shafts in these, but by the looks of things, Lynx have their own brand of shaft now. Lightweight, what you would want from, let's say, a beginner to, let's say, mid-handicap player. And it's evident that that's one way that they've saved a bit of money for this iron set, because for the graphite option that comes in a KBS, it's almost double the price, £600 if you wanted these, obviously with a bit of weight saving and in that graphite shaft. Another money saving and potentially negative, whichever way you look at it, is the fact that if you do want a lambkin grip on it, which by the way, back in the day, lambkin used to be the more affordable version compared to, let's say, your Tor Velvet, it's going to cost you another £8 per club. Whether that's worthwhile or not, I have no idea. Again, it's just an interesting way that Lynx has found a way to save you guys potentially money and still have a golf club that's usable. Obviously, if you've got club fitted it and it works, does it matter what decals down the side of it? Again, if you bought these brand new and they had a KBS shaft in it, or let's say a True Temper shaft, I know the value is just going to hold that much better with that branding on it because people just recognize it. Even though, let's be honest, would it make a bit of difference without being fitted into it? Probably not. However, if you're patient, and potentially the biggest upside of all of this, second-hand wise anyway, is that all the older sets have KBS shafts or NS Pros or steel fibers or graphite or whatever it might be in them, and they go for around £150. Just like Paul said, go on eBay, put it into your save search, Lynx VT irons, and maybe in a month, 2 months, you might find a set that potentially might suit you. And I don't think you're going to be that disappointed. Apart from one small negative, which potentially is less about this and more about us. And it's the reason that I like where these DTC brands are going more towards. Whether it's your Lynx, Orca, Sub 70, Tacoma, a lot of them growing in popularity are able to offer club fitting, because the biggest downside of all of these is that if someone bought this off the shelf brand new and put it in the bag and it stopped working, they're going to think, well, I've got the best equipment in the game possible, so surely it's got to be me, or maybe I need a club fit. I've always found, and why direct-to-consumer irons seem to do that much worse in the second-hand market, is number one, no one's looking for them, and number two, I feel like people, when they buy these, presume that they're missing out on something. It can't be that good at that particular price. Surely a brand has and can give me something more, whether it's forgiveness or spin or distance, and it's just not the case. The ball is on that face for an incredibly short amount of time, and if you have the loft, the lie, the shaft, the length close enough to your ability, trust me, you're not missing out on much. Sadly, it does take 10 to 15 years playing this game and losing quite a lot of money, like I've done, to finally realise that's the truth. Guys, as I said, if you could hit that subscribe button, it'd help me out massively. Any questions on your golf bag or golf game, sasgolfacademy.com. Lynx VTs, most underrated iron in 2025.